This has the NFL on notice. We have a star player from the Buccaneers lighting it up in joint practices against the Steelers. A performance that has earned him a day off on Saturday night. And this comes at no surprise to Bucs fans and to long-term NFL fans. He's been doing this forever. Welcome back. I'm Sebastian with Buccaneers Digest. Cannot wait to get started with this topic. It's been a long time coming to talk about this guy. But make sure to subscribe first. 95% of y'all who are watching are still not subscribed, but that's okay. All you got to do, hit the bell, hit the button, join the community. We're going to be doing a live stream for the preseason game tomorrow. Cannot wait. It's going to be awesome. But we will be missing a certain player, but that's because he absolutely demolished the Steelers secondary. And who other than Mike Evans having a stellar day at joint practice back in Pittsburgh on Thursday. We had Adam Sleven from Peter Report saying Thursday's joint practice against the Pittsburgh Steelers was the first true test to see how the Bucs' talented wide receiver room would look against a just as stout Pittsburgh secondary that has three great corners. While Mike Evans doesn't need to prove anything, he showed why he's the greatest offensive player in Bucs history. I mean, let's be honest, guys. Are any of us surprised that Mike is showing up on, in a joint practice? Not that he doesn't show up in training camp or anything like that. He was making plays against the Titans, and then he also just makes plays against the Bucs corners. You got to make our guys better somehow. And the corners from the Bucs will always say, yeah, it helps playing against a Hall of Fame wide receiver. It helps me get better. It shows me how to dictate myself during camp and just how to be on and off the field. Mike Evans is constantly testing guys and putting himself and the team in the best position possible. But it's been nice to have him go against other corners for once and see what he's doing against experienced veterans. These guys they've been around the league for a little bit. Jalen Ramsey, he's a vet. Slay, he's a vet. They're both now on the Steelers. And he had a day, and it's you could say that corners might age faster than receivers, but Mike Evans is no spring chicken. I mean, he is going into his 12th season, and it's still just as impressive that he's just lighting it up on the field. That he's the standout when he's in a room with Chris Godwin, Emeka Ibuka, Jalen McMillan. And just some stud guys. Bucky Irving being another offensive weapon that could easily steal the headlines. But of course, it's Mike Evans, the guy who just is the model of consistency, Mr. Consistency, as some like to call him. Is just once again just proving that I'm that guy. And even though he's not a showboaty guy, he lets his play speak for him, and that's what a lot of Bucs fans love about him. And what I love about him is that's what really matters, is that he doesn't talk much before or after games, unless it's like Marshall Lattimore. But he lets the play on the field do the talking, and you got to respect it, you got to love it, and it was impressing a lot of people. It wasn't just a few people who noticed; it was a lot of people who were noticing Mike's pretty awesome performance. We had Adam Sleven on Twitter talk about how. Beginning with the wide receiver core, man, did they light it up. Pittsburgh had a solid cornerback trio in Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, and Joey Porter Jr., the younger one. But they proved to be no match for Mike Evans, who was unguardable all afternoon. Wherever Emeka Ibuka lined up, he was dynamic and had a step on the secondary. Jalen McMillan was a key to the offense's touchdown, running a late 2-minute drill. Stocks up all the way around, and this was during a 2-hour joint practice on Thursday. But the wide receivers were kind of the big story coming out of practice. Now, this doesn't mean that McMillan or Ibuka are going to get the days off. Mike Evans kind of gets that honor because, like we've talked about, best offensive player in Bucs history, a future Hall of Famer, and when you're putting in that work and still lighting it up during training camp, it's not like you're taking it off or taking it easy. You're still proving out why you're one of the best ever to do it. The coach is gonna be like, okay, yeah, like you're earning your stripes once again, and you're proving to the young guys that just because you're an experienced veteran doesn't mean that you can just stop caring. You want your team to win. You care about your team winning, and you do that by striking fear into the Steelers secondary. An experienced secondary folks who have been to the playoffs, who've won Super Bowls, just like Mike. And it's cool to see that level of competition going at it, and for Mike to dominate it in particular. That's just going to be really inspiring to Emeka and to Jalen. Godwin, obviously, he's wasn't practicing during the joint practice, but he's been there. He's another receiver in that group who can be kind of mentoring along with Mike. It's great that there's this iconic duo that's helping train the next iconic duo, hopefully, with Jalen McMillan and Emeka Egbuka. It's just cool that we have all these guys. And don't forget Tez Johnson. He's also looking like he's going to be playing in the preseason game. I was looking forward to him possibly playing in the Titans game, but he wasn't practicing that week, so they ended up not playing him, which let Ryan Miller go off. And so we'll see. Tomorrow hopefully is a Tez Johnson day. But we'll see how much Emeka plays, and Sterling Shepard maybe. We'll see. But basically Todd said that basically no one's off the board for starter wise tomorrow, except Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield, who was throwing him all those great balls and letting him dominate, and then Lavonte David, who he also has nothing to prove in a training camp or in preseason. We know he's going to deliver, so no complaints from Bucs fans all around. Rick Stroud had to say Bucs wide receiver Mike Evans couldn't be covered during practice Thursday and won most of his battles with Steelers cornerback Jalen Ramsey. Todd Bowles has seen enough and won't play him on Saturday. It's interesting to think that maybe he was considering playing Mike Evans, and then when Mike just goes out there and dominates, that they're like, never mind. We know what you're about, Mike. We don't need to risk it, especially when you just proved that you're going to be dominating the starters. With Baker throwing you the ball, it's we're fine. And same with Baker. If you're throwing those good of passes, you don't have to prove anything to us in the preseason game or show that you're rusty at all. We can tell through that joint practice that you're good to go. You're fine. We'll see what happens game 3 of the preseason. It's kind of up to the coaches. There's never really a consensus. Some teams play their entire teams. Their entire starter, for a whole quarter or more. Sometimes starters don't even see the field on preseason game 3 because it's too close to the regular season. We'll see what Todd Bowles does. I think he's leaning towards not playing the starters, but you never know. I mean, obviously everyone wants to see Mike play. Everyone wants to see Baker play, but we also don't want to see them get hurt in a meaningless game. This is about seeing the depth on our team and what we have in store to back up guys if, forbid Mike ever goes down or any of the big guys go down. That's what the preseason and training camp is all about, is finding those hidden gems in the rough. So always good to remember that. And one last bit of praise, Scott Smith, beat reporter for the Buccaneers. Todd Bowles sees no reason to run Mike Evans out in the preseason after he made it abundantly clear in Thursday's joint practice with Pittsburgh that he is ready to go. Evans may get some time off here and there due to his veteran status, but when he does practice, he practices hard. And that's what we mean by Mike being kind of this model of consistency and a model of just practicing hard and letting his play speak for him, is that when he gets on that field, when he sees the competition, especially if it's another team, he's not going to let them forget that I'm Hall of Famer Mike Evans. He won't have to say it, but catching all these touchdowns and awesome balls from Baker Mayfield will explain that to whatever defense he's facing. And I think Mike, always appreciates when there's veteran guys like Darius Slay and Jalen Ramsey, who he has good relationships with. Everyone remembers that awesome touchdown Mike caught over Jalen Ramsey in the almost comeback against the Rams. I know no one wants me to mention that game, but it's that touchdown was really good, and Jalen still complains about it to this day. That he's like, man, he just straight up beat me in a go ball, and that's, you love to see best against best, Mike, obviously, with the opportunity to show it again that he's still just as capable. He's probably widened the gap a little bit in terms of okay, that was during when you were almost basically in your prime, Jalen Ramsey. Ramsey is now definitely on the last leg of his career. Mike, I would not expect this to be his last season. Obviously, none of us hope it's his last season. But he's also in the later half of his career. But it's clear that Mike still has a lot of the juice from his from his prime than Jalen Ramsey does, and he showed that not just against Jalen, but against Slay, Joey Porter Jr. The young corner that the Steelers have also obviously is standing no chance against Mike. And that's just awesome. You love to see Mike inspiring the young guys and showing them, listen, man, no matter how old you are or how young you are, experience and knowing your stuff, knowing your fundamentals, and just being a baller matters. It's having the right mindset. And Mike loves the competition. Mike wants to go up against the best. He never fares away from that type of competition. He wants it, and the best of the best will want those matchups. So overall, you just have to be thrilled with like hearing this. I mean, everyone who is a big Bucs fan or a Mike Evans fan won't say that they're too surprised or too shocked. We're all unfortunately waiting for the inevitable. Oh, Mike Evans has fallen off. He's at the last year, last leg of his career, last stretch, last contract, whatever it is. It happens to everyone. It happened to Tom Brady. Eventually he had to hang him up, but we're all hoping this isn't the last run. It might be the last run for Lavonte David, who's also getting a veteran day off on Saturday. But we're all hoping it's not for Mike Evans. He's still got another 1 or 2 contracts left in him, or 1, 2, 3 years left in him. He has explained that he doesn't want to play for another 5 years. He doesn't see himself being in the league for another 5 years, which put him in year 16. That is pretty rare for a wide receiver. They usually... look at Odell Beckham Jr., who was the same draft class as Mike Evans, who, he's not even on a team right now. He's trying to refute retirement talks, but it's like, at the same time, he's completely washed. He's just nowhere what he was in his prime. And, Mike is obviously one of the best and still in those top 10 talks, top 5 talks, if you ask NFC South fans and guys who've been tortured by Mike for over a decade. He's just one of the best there is, and just a stand-up guy. He probably didn't ask for this veteran day off. Todd Bowles gave it to him. He's like, I don't need to see you get hurt when you already proved your worth and proved that you still have the stuff, and there's no rust on you, Mike Evans. And it puts a smile on your face that that we're living in a time where Mike just is doing his thing, where we're in the prime of Buccaneers football. Just so much talent on this offense. It's such an exciting team to watch. It's, last year it was either a close game or we were blowing teams out, besides the Ravens game, but we don't like to talk about that game. Overall, though, it was a really fun season because this is a fun team. This is a talented team. Good mix of experience, good mix of youth. And the coaches know their stuff. There's no big egos on this team. And Mike is just one of the big parts of that culture that is just, it makes us one of the best organizations in football, that Mike being the face of this franchise. And Baker has definitely learned a lot from that. And they are just a great tandem. Earn the day off. But speaking of day off and, just the game coming tomorrow, we will be doing our first live stream. Let's go. Of Bucs versus Steelers preseason. I will be live streaming right here on the channel, so make sure you are subscribed to get the notification when we're starting. We're starting right around the time that the game is starting, 7 o'clock on Eastern time. So make sure that you are here for that. Watch along with me. We'll be having tons of fun breaking down what's going on, play by play, and get in the chat. We'll be just talking, discussing. It'll be tons of fun. Make sure to be there. And we'll have a blast. First live stream of the season. We'll be right here together, and we'll see who really stands out. Maybe we'll make some predictions down below in the comments. Who do you expect to be the standout player, or who are you going to be looking for in preseason game 2 against the Pittsburgh Steelers? Let me know in the comments below. Personally, my lookout, I already mentioned Nick Jackson, who had a great performance in the game against the Titans in preseason game 1. I want to see if he can do it again, because linebacker room is extremely light for us, and it's a bit of a worry after Lavonte leaves. So I want to see, if Nick Jackson can be this hidden gem that we've discovered, and if he can replicate that performance that he had, or not. He doesn't have to get an interception and a sack, but maybe one or the other again. Make some big plays, and Also, one last thing, J.J. Roberts was reported to have an injury. We're still waiting on the full breakdown of what happened there. But that's going to, give Shiloh more reps in the game, and we'll see what happens with Shiloh Sanders and how he has improved this past week. But anyway, Nick Jackson's my answer. Let me know your answer down below. And just shout out Mike in general. Just tell Mike how much you appreciate him. And, Mike loves us. We love Mike. It's a great relationship. And, it just makes the Buccaneers fans just that much more happy. But anyway, I will see y'all in the next video. I will see y'all for the live stream. Be there and go Bucs, baby.